Chen hung in his heart, even more suspicious. The devil is also a big character. Master Ra also put his hand in. On the other hand, Willow is thriving right now, floating in the air. Look at the bottom. Then I graduated from medical school, except for his nurse. And his body immediately swelled up. Then from his mouth, there's a multitude of things sprayed out. It just came out of his mouth. It's all transformed into countless forms of evil. Screaming, extremely thorny, monstrosities in extremely large numbers. Very fast. Completely covered the top of the Tran Hung. 3 of them have just escaped. I don't know if the enemy is the enemy or me. So it's very stressful. Dong Hoa, when I saw their faces, I spoke up. You don't have to worry. He's on our side. He's been assigned another mission by the big Kier. The other side is also on the other side right now. Looking up into the air. Lu Tuan's magic very quickly completely covered the sky of Lu Yang. This place suddenly fell into the end of the world. The fire is burning everywhere. Under the ground, there are also countless giant pointed horns rising up. The sky was covered in countless screaming monsters. Zhang just looked. I realized that this is the devil's curse. Evil photo. He has now fled to a corner of the city. Stay away from the 10 good people. On people, it is still being burned by the fire. There's no way out. It's hard to understand, looking up at the sky. What the hell is that? This world is so strange. Fake strength, wielding great power and all kinds of moves. The devil just came out a native. I know my real name too. Wait, don't talk. It is the name of a wide mouth. I have revealed my real name. While he thought the 7 gods, Wu took this opportunity. Suddenly, from behind the top of his head. He didn't use the attack school either. That uses the most occult circuit to radiate the soul. The soul of the nail does not hit the evil man he. It's to plug in its shadow. Let it be fixed in place. Dance class after doing this. Then take the initiative to step back. Prolong the distance from the enemy. When he stood still, he laughed. It's as true as you say. This ghost's body is a puppet. The shadow is its leg. Nailing down its shadow. It won't be able to move. 10 quick goodness from in the alley, next to go out. Mainly because it didn't last long. Still haven't fully adapted to our world. By 0, it's not going to be that easy to nail it back. He said he just stopped. Put your fiery feet in the palm of your hand. The fire broke out very quickly, turned into a giant fire on top of his head. This trick is called the Japanese. His evil heart was burned by Yudumin fire. There's no way to completely solve it. It was hit by the sun. More than that, he's stuck in the shadow. There's no way to escape. Was hit on him by the temple fire. Immediately, his cry of sorrow. Echoing everywhere. His scream was so loud that 2 10-year-olds were on his side. The distance is also affected. Face wrinkled, hands up to cover ears. The sound of screaming passes away. Armor on the evil man photo now. They were all burned. Fall out. It's also completely deformed. And it's disgusting. Even so, it still has no way out of its miserable position. Lying on the ground, Dance looks at it. Not expected. The essence of this external ghost is small. That's ugly. He heard him humiliate himself. Then the anger screams. Sublime creatures don't look at their faces and take pictures. Don't think you won. 10 good people go in front of the person he cuts. All right, uncle. If you don't enter this world, will not meet such an end. Not Sao. He laughed at his evil heart. It ended like that. Aha, you basically don't know anything. We are immortal. Starting from the moment your world has been discovered by us, your future is already determined. 10 good people are not too concerned about this issue. I guess so. But there's a point you can't ignore. In the future, as if you were a warrior, the Great Seal doesn't know how many. He said that he had just developed the art of making sense. His evil heart soon after. They were locked inside an oven, knitting in golden color, extremely majestic. It's inside the black oven, screaming and questioning. What do you mean? It's called not knowing how many are sealed. Answer me, asshole. No matter how he screams. I didn't get 10 positive feedback either. Another side, Willow Tuin flourished with his evil legion, are floating in the air to observe the phenomenon called Sao Thunder. Look, we have to hurry up. He then directed the evil army to give orders. You use the generator. Get all the geeks in the city off the battlefield. Remember that in the meantime, don't drink their blood, they skin them. Did you hear me clearly? All the ghosts answered in unison. Willow Tuin is satisfied right now. Ask them to go to work. The whole group then flew away, divided into 4 different countries, running to every corner of the city. Catalytic development. Display in the form of giants. Seeing this situation is not inevitable. A little bit of a surprise. It feels like they don't need us anymore. Smiling back, that's not good. No more risking your life. On the other side of the river. It's also floating in the air right now. The sand is amazing. Tricks of medicine. It turns out you can use it like that. The glory of waking up. I don't blame that year. Willow Tuin wants to win the economic destruction. No blame, after he had acquired the secret of medicine. The emperor had just ascended the throne and had been so wary of him. It's all connected to this one screen. It all makes sense in the city. We don't need to work anymore. Turn into a dragon and help King Ui and Min. The sand doesn't say much. Directly from a bird to a black dragon. He then flew up. Into the clouds in the air. On the other hand, Tran Hung holds a heart. His current state is French carpentry. Show picture. Very quickly, the Vu class came back. We're back. This is the heart of heaven that he mentioned earlier. The little mannequin in his hand. It's the evil spirit. Don't get along with him. Why didn't he come back with you? The dance is headed towards Tran Hung. I just told him to take care of another ghost. You make it say, carpentry. Your body. Except it's perfectly tolerable to the heart. This ghost can even move apart. The power of the heart. The bird next door is amazing. There's no way to believe it. Perfectly tolerated. You are the devil. That kind of thing. There can't be no side effects. Tran Hung waved his hand to stop him. If sacrificed alone, that we can suppress the root of this heart. I am willing to volunteer to do that. Finished talking, he gave him the hand to receive the evil image from the dance class. Then, without hesitation, put it in the place of your heart. I see it forever, without any reaction. I can't help but ask you how you are. I can't feel anything strange. Tran Hung himself found it difficult to understand. Shaking your head doesn't feel special. It's no different than changing hearts like last time. Stand on the side of terror. It shouldn't be with the level of this ghost. How is this possible? Even if it's trained, the potential pollution in it. It can't be neutralized either. by legal carpentry. However, the intensity of the physical, it is related to the quality of wood when building legal entities. But this world, there is no law related to trees or plants, so the rational mind can't practice the physical body strong enough to support him perfectly, can tolerate the heart of heaven. He is thinking about 7 gods. Then the current 10 come to call. We're ready to make peace. When do we take the road to sin? Move the scene back to the willow Tuan Tuan. He's still flying in the air right now. Watch and control your evil. He stopped their feelings thinking. There's a lot of evil that the enemy doesn't see. This must be the wrong guy. That kid Kier mentioned. If it's not that our emotions are just right, it can transform any attack. Contact to be missing body. Don't tell me it's Liu Yang. The devil that I release. I think it will cost 7 a lot. That boy asked me to save him. This is really something only we can do. On the other hand, Li Dong is also raising his head. I watched the demons of Lu Tuan fly away. He couldn't help but complain. It looks like this one. Maybe there will be more survivors. At this time 10 good future version landed next to him. He turned around and asked if he was done. 10 good nods yes. Body that we use malice to shape raw. I gave it to my master. Li Dong smiled with satisfaction. Just take it. That's right, transmitting the great art of perfect yang. The Queen of Heaven took him to heaven. Sure to complain about the Greek waterfall. It won't last much longer. We need to deal with the darkness. Before the important return, 10 honest people ask you whether you do it or I do it. Deputy Li Dong. You do it before you cut it. The old man needs to use it to find the state. Above the 9 clouds, Ui and Min is currently turning around and the electricity is still flashing more and more dazzling. His current conversion rate has reached 90%. A little less is the city. Hong sand in the shape of long legs. He flew close to him right now. Lord, I have come to help you. The king could hear his voice. Then open your eyes. I didn't say anything. The sand doesn't say much. Roll up the wind. 72 maple wizards were soon deployed. The evil people of Lu Tuan Thin are spreading their hands all over Luoyang City. The bottom is also affected by the wind. Flying in chaos, Willow Tuan is very fast to touch. Sometimes angry people scream, I am dead. Who the hell is harassing you? On 9 layers of sand and clouds still don't know. There's a guy down there cursing me. Continue to perform 72 island art Vusu. In the air, soon after, there was a torrential rain. Luoyang City is burning everywhere. Will soon be extinguished by this rain. Move the scene back to the 10 minis. He tapped him on the shoulder. After the road, you can call the wrong sound underneath you. Help you catch criminals. Don't be nervous. Until then, just follow the law. The 10 virtues don't show any signs of confusion. Seriously nod. The dog saw that he was so confident. Tell him to leave. 10 goodness quickly take out his sound press. I am the Da Lam master of the 10 virtuous. Now immediately go up the road. Sign the letter in his hand. And then it flashed. At a certain electricity inside the Da Lam exam. 10 virtues on the person whom the Mandarin is sitting on the chair. He very quickly opened his eyes. Where he is sitting is the jail. He looked at the room below empty. Immediately uttered, it's not wrong. At the same time in the city of Luoyang, the two armed men with the evil lie immediately received the order. Summon started SAO. 10 is calling me. The two of them were immediately summoned. The police officer looked around, doubting or uttering, "Where is this place?" 10 people sitting on the radio strictly ordered the wrong tone dance class. "Shangquan, I command you to bring sinners to court." Dance class has nothing called discomfort. Immediately clasped hands to recognize the mission. The next 10 are again. Add command yin sai evil lie. Command officer, let you suffer, master. To the road. The enemy is also happy to take orders. 2 people, they soon disappeared under the road. Go on duty. In the blink of an eye, they have brought back countless masters. In addition to the familiar beings in Luoyang City, like humans and animals, the grass and trees of the house are thought to give life. Also brought to arm clasping report. Nang Shangquan, the sinners and the masters have been brought. These ghosts are criminals. They are the wrong people. Follow the gods to this world. Fire hazard. They're completely deaf. They're not afraid of guns. I still don't know what's going to happen to me. They talk to each other. What are these Indians saying? He is showing us why. 10 angry goodness banged the table loud and quiet for me. His voice here is absolute. The words that had withdrawn from the room immediately fell silent. He then directed the subordinates. The owner stepped up to talk. The owner immediately after that screamed, "Lord God, you must. Master for small snails. Life is not easy. I have not yet felt the goodness of the world. They were used as firewood to burn. I want to go to the Hugo Review channel." Hoo-hoo, the dog also barked. Heaven and earth witness. Our family has always been honest and honest. And then you're in this situation. 10 good people stopped them out loud. That's enough, you outcasts. That's not obeying the law. The world without cause, Luoyang soul killer. Who gave you that liver? The ghosts played without fear and gritted their teeth. This is the world that God created. The way I look at them. It's predetermined. He must be made a paradise by my Lord. It is suitable for us to live. Why do we have to obey the laws of the people? About to perish like you. 10 goodness gripped hand gritted Ken safe. That's great, he pointed out. I'm going to die and I don't know how to repent. You don't like to burn too much. The Lord will punish you to fall into the mountain of hell. Be friends with the cold all your life. He just finished the funeral. He was exiled to the mountain of hell. At the same time on the other side, the owner can also touch it from the ground. It turns out, you went to hell a few days ago. God has promised to you is to embrace this intention. To use the body of a foreign god to train the supreme wisdom. To crack down on first-class outsiders. Give back your religion to yourself. Interesting, really interesting. Move the scene back to Lost Ocean. Wang Yuanming in the air. The electricity around you is becoming more and more intense, spreading out around more intensely. His destruction is about to take place. His conversion rate has now reached 93%. He thought in his heart, now we can only do this step. If it continues, there's no turning back. Lightning flickered in the dark clouds with the heavy rain. It doesn't stop pouring down. Luoyang, 2 people with 10 good reason. Dong raised his head to look. The sky uttered. To the extreme SAO. Willow Tuan is also paying attention. Look up in the air. Time is up. He then. The evil spirits are hovering below. Shout out to the demons to obey. Quickly put according to the Luoyang competence was created. Immediately use the ghost to dissolve Dafa. In the air, King Ian Min shouted. The scene of destruction. Willow Tuan thunder. The more I hear his voice, the more I hurry. Scream out loud. The sound of the king has ended. On 9 clouds, there was a tremendous amount of lightning coming down. Their goal. It's the giant horns. It's coming up under the ground. Another side, the old people with Louis also chased close. Close to the forest edge of Luoyang City. They've just arrived outside the city gates. Good fit. It was also the time when the power of the king fell. The corn is amazing. That's the demonic cup. It's here. Some people are using the destruction scene to resist. The Lord and the Lord are also waiting. There were people. Use the ghost to dissolve Dafa in the city. But this number is too exaggerated. Long face tone bass to the extreme. We're still a step late. Very fast. The lightning began to collect back in the sky. The ocean is back to normal as before. The heavy rain was also collected by the kings. Li Dong stroked his deep chin. All 7 horns have been destroyed. Watch out, under careful preparation, and have a helper threaten. King Ian Min's death scene. For the alien, will increase significantly. At this time, the ground trembled violently. 10 good panic uttered. Dark Kai Deem awake, then Sao Li Dong continued. You should wake up too. Even if it's in a hurry. How well do we adapt to our world? After the 7 horns are cut off, it should also be conscious. Now is not the time. Under the ground, and very quickly, a giant creature came up. Its essence is a giant Taurus horse. With 7 horns. Willow Tuan prosperity looks like a lot of horns. Many eyes suddenly came out of the ground. I can't help but utter 2 absurd words. This is not ancient times. All things and the devil. At Sao, the celestial sphere still allows for large heavenly beyond ghosts. This common sense. Come down. The people on the other side were amazed. I can't describe this. What is heaven doing? The path of the giant creature. Isn't it no longer possible? Why this ghost can still maintain its shape? Like a giant like that. The king gave an opinion. Maybe you can talk to him. This is the current size. Have you ever been restricted by the heavens? And hearing that was even more terrifying. It's this size, but it used to be limited. So how big is its essence after all? Li Dong also directed 10 good subordinates. The old man left and returned immediately, 10 kind smiling nods. The goat was soon after. Immediately implemented 3 through legislative capacity. The needle turns into a flying light. Blink 1. He showed up on the back of the snake. Just landed on the back of the coyote. He looked a little surprised from a distance. The old people with their nests are coming from that direction. He couldn't help but be surprised to see them. Organs and separation also came Sao. Good so good. Core members deal with carving cartoons Asian way. That's enough. He then jumped up into the air. Atomic Town, let me borrow some of your skills. And he did it a little bit later. Immediately performed out great skill in the sleeve. Magnetic needles in sleeves. He quickly came out and covered the body of the coyote. The Taurus horse is covered in gold very quickly. Immediately shrink at a speed that the human eye can see. And very quickly, it became a model buffalo. Slowly fly towards Li Dong. It's just like that. He's got it in his sleeve. Without any hindrance. Li Dong looked at the sleeve laughing. A fool like you. If you went to the small world, never been destroyed by the former. It just depends on your shape. It's enough to give a local rabbi a headache. Unfortunately, this world fits, was once led by the priest of all things. Go the former way of domination. Then they invited the owners. Especially leaving the orthodox and the wise in the sleeve. To deal with. We're too smart to lock up a monster like you. Keep it for me to use. Moreover, your 7 horns have been cut off. You couldn't have burned the old man's sleeve. To run away, so be a good old man's back cushion. Ha! Many people had already flown in front of him. Lee Cabinet saw him, was very surprised. The reason doesn't explain too much. Look at them and say out. You have come at the right time. Soon there will be an alien. I need you to use your full strength to help us avoid pollution, high temperature, and fire of the enemy. Louis, without hesitation, agreed immediately. But tell me first. You're trying to escape from the prison of all things. He shook his head. This is not the place to talk. Let's go downstairs and talk. The family also has no idea to nod. The goat body photo 2 people later. Disappear in front of the eyes of the people. After a long while, slowly, he flew to the corn people. Ask yourself who it is. The corn on his face was filled with wonder. He was the first human in his previous life. You don't know why. Long ago, made a naive figure shake his head. The doctor never told me this. At this time, the organ appeared again. Waiting for the chief imam to be overthrown. You can still dance in the world. This 2414 microcosm is so special, SAO. The 10 best people in the world are back from hell. When Chen Xing saw them back, he went to ask them. Not done 10 good nods. It's done now. There is only enough to judge the number of the 7 traitors. Willow is thriving right now, also landed from the air. The 3rd ghost came to Earth. They seem to have been caught with a claw in their sleeves. Then, let us see if anyone wants to come along. The piece exclaimed excitedly, take all of them. Then we ride on the road. Willow Tuan created Ra fly away. The people here are also watching them. It seems that they want to meet Li Dong this way. Li Dong led Theo to the 10 good places. The future. 2 people very quickly landed in front of 10 people. Separate, completely unknown. The boy in front of me is AI. It's hard to know who he is. Li Dong laughed and explained that he was not an outsider. This little fellow has encountered the machinations of the capital. He is now in the same boat as us. When Louis heard that, she woke up. That look of sympathy on her face. That's really pathetic. Speaking of which, how did you use it? To escape from the prison of all things. Logically speaking, the remnants of the previous preacher were captured. Will never be released again. Li Dong stroked his beard to explain. Because it won't be long. The aliens will invade this world on a massive scale. God, in order to protect us, had to release us. Let's change the knots of history. It could lead to war. Extraterrestrial large-scale invasion. Louis Nest frowned not history, SAO. Li continued to explain. Some of the invaders came here. There's a very cruel guy. Use time as a battlefield. Fortunately, the first miracle of this life. He used a part of his body. To train Ra, a god with the same power. So we can cross the river of time. Go back to the past and change the future. The prison is amazing. Part 2 SAO. This is the new creation that Li studied. Li Dong nodded. Yes, there is something. The root of it is Wei Bao Yang's knitting technique. The closet asked again. So our ego probably needs this technique too. Can you teach me the Dharma? Li Dong smiling. Of course, there is something. You have to wait until the carving is done. 10 people standing on one side listening to them talk. Suddenly, I can feel something. He turned his head after a moment. Then he turned his head towards the 2 Louis ancestors, said Ra. My master and I of this moment are passing by. I can't see them for 7 days now. When he finished, he disappeared where he left off. In the air, King Ui and Min is here again. Dragon ride back, except for the future. All the heroes have gathered in the same place. When Korn came to visit Tai Lai nest softly. The exchange of 8 fires. The crew glanced at him. Now is not the time. Wait a minute, I've been asking for a long time. It's not important that he's not here. I've seen the entire landscape deployed for him. The locals don't care. Just ignore that confessor. Ask the leader before you, because I can dance in the world. This is very important to me. King Ian Min spoke up to explain. He's in charge of another mortal. If you haven't come back, you probably haven't won yet. Peach Sun babes stroking beard laughing. This team of 5 is awesome. Yellow sand towards the royal city. A soft voice in the city. How did the emperor respond? Most of them were the demons of the devil. Using the technique of contact creation and the great dharma of the heavens and ghosts, listen to it dissolve and breathe. That's good, old friend. Willow Tuan laughed and laughed. Willow, Willow. You said you were full of evil half your life. When the old man is about to die, it's starting to be kind again. How Willow Tuan Thong. I can hear the excitement in his words. Immediately ruffled hair screaming. You take care of me, bitch. The original is standing on one side, pressing the aesthetic calculation. Why? I can't figure out the location of my son. Don't tell me he's hiding in the painting. 10 benevolent mini annoyance towards the big ask. What are you staring at me for? It's just a little bit of a surprise. Your child grew up like this. Why do we have to be proactive to get involved in the affairs of Liu Yang? 10 when good people heard these words. It's too spicy to describe. He walked up to Tran Hung and started talking. You have a good disciple. Tran Hung suspected or glanced at him. You know my disciples. Evil Lai did not hide the answer. I work under his school. Dance class softly asked Dong Hoa. Which side are you on? It's a compromise or something to stand on. When the class saw that he was pretending to be stupid, it was straight up. Capital or 10 good, Dong Hoa naive people. Now you ask me, this doesn't make any sense. Even though SAO finally won the capital. Does a loud dance class make sense? Because can the future change? Why? They're going to join the Liu Yang War. The crowd gathered enough to start talking. Let me be brief, Ba. Ghost of Heaven. You see, it's actually just an appetizer. The ghost descended next. That's the most important part. The people who heard that, the AI wrinkled their faces. Extremely unsightly, Li Dong continues to estimate cautiously. Its threat to the world. It's not going to be smaller than 10 days ago. The smile is different from everyone laughing. It's very exciting. Li Dong reminder. Here, some people aren't even qualified to fight it. Some people can't help. In terms of reciprocity. Except for the nest. Stupid back in the day. Long. I have read the names of others. Please leave quickly. If you listen to that, hold your chest and breathe aesthetically. Fortunately, there is no name for me. King Ian Min was angry loudly. Wait a minute, why did you exclude me? Lai Dong explained. Because something more important needs you to go to work. Wait for the seal to close. The ghost is in his charge. I invite you to go to hell with him. To suppress the heavenly ghosts, how to get lost in the bloody hell. You dig Sun 2 and Trong 2 will be the crux of this battle. Trong 2 is delighted. I thought I didn't have to fight anymore, so I shot myself. King Ian Min nodded with satisfaction. Well, we don't matter. And Lu Tuan flourishing. You both have the same boring expression. The result is still no escape SAO. They then rode on Baklong's back. Peach Sun to go to Tan Nguyen asked. Come along later. Sao Nguyen Tan smiled and shook his head. No, my pupils are currently unknown. We have to find him. Say that in your mouth. But in his heart, he thinks differently. Who wants to go with you? I don't want to get caught up in foreign wars anymore. Soon, we find an opportunity to hide in the view of Cho Hugo. No one will ever find me. But life is not a dream. At this moment, the king appeared with him. He holds his shoulder with his hand. We're looking with you. Just in time for the battle behind. We need people like you to guide us. You probably won't reject us. Tan's face is full of discomfort, of course. Proud to say Ra. Prince, that sounds strange. Current ghost total attack. It's a critical situation. Why can't we stand out? Out of the mouth is so strong. But in my heart, I'm screaming. It's done. This time it's gone. Peach Sun poured to applaud, saying good. The frequency also comes to speak. If you want to go, be sure to hesitate. We'll only miss the opportunity. I'm not like you. But as soon as he finished, he shot himself. Because the Dong Dong suddenly appeared behind his back. He asked in a cold voice, surely you are not going to say goodbye. He turned his head and glanced at him in the face. I can't help but sweat. Li Dong laughed. Since you relied on 5SA to crack dead bodies, he escaped and changed to the devil. For 1,000 years, you've been hiding. Surely have accumulated a lot of resources. In the first half of the war, you didn't, I definitely want to save my energy. It's time to fight. More important than the old man did not guess wrong. Sighing in my heart. He was targeted by Li Dong this time. He had no other choice. Can only reluctantly smile. I guess not wrong. I thought so. At the same time, the world is coming. I don't understand. With your eyes. I can't wait to see my current situation. Why do you still want to keep me? It's not the new 7. Li Ko lecture. Did you not guess why? I will definitely deal with the pollution of your ears and eyes. Remove the supervisor inside the muscle. Maybe you? This side has long been directing the 2 Trongju subordinates. Come to Tanan and wait for me. Your body is powerless, so just ignore them. Trong to 2 people in unison. Take care of you too. They had just left the platform and asked anxiously for a long time. Do you ask for me or not? If we don't help, we do it ourselves. Tran Hung is also directing 10 good subordinates. Come with me later, I have something to tell you. 10 good people do not refuse to accept immediately. The reason is now to go to them. Loud teaching. What the hell is this? I encourage you as I tell you. Have you forgotten all about it? Tran Hung reluctantly scratched his head. There is no. The disciple is just a sharp copper cutting off just something. It's just that there's something more important than SAO. He went to pick up Tran Hung's collar. Then, take a look at the honest advice of the Lord. The wind by the ear. What did the old man tell you? The grace of others is so easy to get. Currently, you can rely on helping people to pay their debts. I've been very lucky. Some people don't even have a chance to pay their debts. These are his words. Seems to be alluding to the 10 virtues of the future. He hurriedly clasped his hands. The student knows that he is wrong. Wrong must be corrected. When people are not angry, hurry up and pay off your debt of gratitude. He then turned his head to look at 10 good people. Sometimes bad things come to the opposite extreme. It can turn into a good thing. This is the Tai Lai polarity that people often say. He condensed out a beam of light on the seductive hand. You call me a master. I'll give you one.